10K Q&A. Alright, our little channel is approaching 10,000 subscribers, which is something that I never thought would happen, ever. So I really wanted to do something a little special for this occasion. Right, so they didn't have any zeros at the dollar store, so I guess today we're celebrating 9,999 subscribers. I'm seeing a lot of questions in the comments, so I thought this 10K special could be a great opportunity for me to answer your questions, and also maybe a little sneak peek of the next devlog episode. I asked you guys to ask me questions, and boy, did you have a lot of questions. So I'm gonna try to go through as many as I can, and yeah, let's see how far we get. Chicken nuggets or mozzarella sticks? Well, I don't eat chicken, so it'll have to be the sticks. When you lived in Sweden, what city did you live in? Well, if you imagine you're in Gothenburg and you drive 2 hours straight into the forest, that's where I grew up. How long do you think you're gonna need to finish your game? I don't know. I honestly don't know. However, I do think that for me to have something playable where you can play like against a friend locally is not too far away. I'd say a few months, and then I should be able to publish something on itch.io for you guys to play. Can you do a backflip?
Are you sure?
Yeah. It turns out I can't. What is the main reason you chose Unreal over Unity for Punch a Bunch? P.S. Your dog is the best choice you made to keep in the video. Thank you. Well, okay, so I actually started Punch a Bunch in Unity when I was just starting out, and the reason I moved over to Unreal is because I really thought that this physical-based animations, as you saw in episode 3 of the devlogs, was a really important aspect of the game, and unfortunately, Unity doesn't have any native support for that yet. So my only option was to opt for third-party plugins. There's one called Final IK, which is $80. Because Unreal Engine has all of these features that I need built in, that's the main reason why I chose to go with Unreal Engine. What is your favorite game? Oof, that's hard. I mean, yeah, that's a hard question. A more recent title that really left an impact on me was The Witness. It's not necessarily maybe the best game in terms of gameplay, but I really enjoyed The Witness as an overall experience, and it really left a meaningful impact on me, I think. Which platform are you gonna launch your game on? Initially, it's gonna be PC. A lot of you are asking if I'm gonna release on console, and I mean, yes, of course. If you're asking me if I wanna release on console, yes, of course I would. However, it's a little more complicated to release on console as opposed to PC, because on console, first you need, like, let's say on the PlayStation, you need Sony approval, and you'll also need to get a developer's kit. And so it's a little more involved to publish on console. As for mobile, I don't know. The problem is, of course, the controls and how I would solve that. I'm thinking about it. I would love to, but it's PC is definitely the priority right now. How old are you? I'm 21 plus 10. Will you do a 10K special when you have 10K subscribers? Are you gonna add multiplayer to your game at some point? Yes, there's definitely gonna be local multiplayer. Network multiplayer, the big problem with that is that the physical animation system is, as far as I understand, not compatible with Unreal's network features. But I'm obviously gonna try. If there's any way I can make online multiplayer work, I will, of course. What inspired you to get into game development? I think on some level I've always been interested in making games. I think my first attempt to make video games, I was around 8 or 9 years old, I can't really remember. It was this program, it was called The Games Factory, I think. I've searched for it and I can't even find it anymore. But it was this super simple, like 2D, you could barely do anything. Yeah, so it was just like, I gave it up pretty quickly. But it was definitely there from a very early age. So I think it just sort of stayed with me throughout the years, and it's something that I kept thinking about and just never really acted on until now. How did you start game dev? When I really kicked it into gear was probably around 3 or 4 years ago. I really wanted to learn coding. It was something that I had wanted to learn for a long time, mainly because I wanted to make video games. So I took this course, and I'll talk more about that later, in Unity, which taught me how to code C#, and that's really when I started taking it a little bit more seriously. Can you do a setup tour? Well, you're in luck, I already did one. What tip would you give to a new game developer? As a more generic tip, I would say allow yourself time to learn. If you're anything like me, you're gonna want to jump in and you're gonna want to make World of Warcraft 2 in like 6 months. That is just not gonna happen, and I think the best advice I can give you is to just, if you really, really want to make games, give yourself time to learn and expect there to be some obstacles along the way, and just try to push past those. And this kind of leads me to the next question, which is, I'm new to Unity. Do you know of any good tutorials to start from scratch for a beginner? Yes, I do. So as I mentioned, I started my game dev journey with Unity, and I took this course on Udemy by Ben Tristram. And before I did this course, programming seemed impossible. I had tried to learn a little bit before, just on YouTube videos and stuff, and it just never made any sense. I thought it was too stupid. I just thought, I'm not smart enough. I can't do this. This course took me from not understanding anything to being able to actually write code and make things work. For me, at least, it was incredibly valuable, and I don't regret it. The course is usually on sale for like 10 to 15 bucks, and it is definitely worth that. So if it's like full price right now, just wait a couple of days and it'll go on sale. What's it like living with no eyebrows? I have eyebrows, look. Wait, okay, you can't really see them on camera. Camera doesn't... Damn it! How do you plan your tasks on your desktop like DevDuck? Well, okay, so this is actually a really common question. The tool I use to plan things is called Trello. All you gotta do is go to Trello.com, sign up, and you can use the tool for free. What do you do full time? I work in visual effects as a compositor. If you don't know what that means, it's basically like Photoshop, but for grown-ups. What superpower would you like to have and why? I think maybe flying would be cool. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with flying. What books do you recommend on game development, and what courses do you think are the best for noobs in this? So I have these books. Yes, I'm gonna do a review on them, but I don't know, they're pretty expensive, and I don't know that I would recommend to buy them. I just feel like any information you get in a book you can easily find on the internet these days. I'd recommend just like staying with courses on the internet. And also some of you have asked if I recommend you buying a course or just doing free YouTube tutorials. I definitely think that there is a lot of good YouTube tutorials. I do, however, recommend starting your journey with a course such as the one I recommended, because Ben's course is excellent because it takes you from complete beginner to intermediate level, right? And the good thing with that is that there are several chapters, and each chapter builds on fundamentals that you were taught in previous lessons. Whereas if you do YouTube tutorials, whatever you learned in the last YouTube tutorial, the next YouTube tutorial won't know about, right? So either they will reteach you the same things over again, or this new YouTube video expects you to know things that you don't already know. So you just won't have that beginner to intermediate flow. For me, I don't regret getting that course. I think that was awesome. And once you've done that course, you now know the fundamentals, and now you're at the point where you can start looking around at YouTube tutorials because you already have some context. So that would be my recommendation. If a big game company hires you, will you leave your indie journey? No. When will you grow back your What, in your personal opinion, are some of the most important lessons you have learned from your game dev journey so far? Many things, but I think the most important one is whatever it is that you're thinking about doing, whatever idea you have, just do it. So take all your excuses, throw them out the window, and just go for it. How did your channel grow so quick? I mean, you were a YouTuber for a long time, but all of a sudden you're growing. Well, I think the main reason for that is that I was making these really mediocre or bad gaming videos, and I decided to switch up my content and really focus. I think that the growth is definitely coming from me changing my content and putting more effort into my videos. And this ties in with the next question, which is, do you have any tips for new YouTubers publishing devlogs like myself? How do I get my content noticed? Okay, so I don't feel like I'm in a position to give any sort of YouTube advice. I mean, I think we've come a long way and I'm so happy and grateful. But I still think that, I mean, there are far more successful people on the platform than I am, so I don't know how much my advice is worth. So I feel like this is something, maybe on the 100K special, we'll do a little bit more YouTube talk. But the advice that I can give at this point is probably create the very best videos that you possibly can. If that means, you know, filming on an iPhone, then that's great. But make sure that it is the very best video that you can make. What inspired you to start making devlogs? Well, you know, I was making really bad gaming videos, and I think I was never really passionate about that, but I did really love making those videos in a way. But I also really wanted to make video games. It's been a lifelong dream of mine. So because I work full time and that takes up a huge chunk of my time, at some point I came to sort of like a crossroads where I was sort of like, well, do I want to like really go all in on this YouTube thing or the game dev thing? And I made the decision to sort of merge the two. A huge inspiration for me was people like DevDuck, for example, who, you know, full-time job, girlfriend, still managed to make that work and was still able to work on their games while making these videos. And I found that really inspiring. And so that's what sort of made me take that step. Do you have girlfriend? And if you have, show it.
It. I'm an it.
I didn't write the question. I don't have a hat for you, so that's good, yeah. Okay, do you like it? We're celebrating 9,999 subs today. It's a bit of a special occasion.
Congrats.
Okay, now that you're here, I do have a question. Why is your name Pontypants? Well, you came up with that, so...
I don't know why. It just came to me one day. That was before we were married, by the way.
And so there you go. It's been my name for a long time.
Can I go?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Bye.
Oh wait, I need my hat back. Is it too late to start learning to code in your 30s? No, it's not. It's too late when you're 6 feet under. Before that, not too late. How do you stay motivated? I often get demotivated when my game is 30 to 55% done. I think my motivation comes through years of failure in terms of starting projects and then abandoning them. And at some point I realized that I had spent many, many years starting up all these projects and abandoning them. And then you start looking back and thinking, if I had just stuck with one of these projects, I would have probably come quite a long way now. You know, when times get hard and you think, oh, this sucks and so grindy and I just want to do something else, then I like to think back to this, right? It's definitely something you can probably work on, but it's also something that comes with years of failure, unfortunately. That's how it was for me. Do you use OBS? Yes, I do. When will your next video come out? Well, probably next weekend, I'm hoping for. I've made some really good progress on the game, actually. It's finally starting to look like a game, so I'm so excited to show you. I'm working really hard on the game, but I also have to make the video, so I'm hoping that I can publish maybe on Sunday, but we'll see. I really don't want to release a video and have you all be disappointed. That would break my heart, so it's coming soon. Do you drink any energy drink or something to have energy for working on your project after work? No, and neither should you. They don't actually give you real energy. They actually make you feel worse, more tired, and they kill you slowly. The advice I can give about energy is sleep well, and a bit of regular exercise is good as well. How do I get a girlfriend? You're on your own there, buddy. I guess game deving is not considered like super hot. How do you manage your time to be able to work in a full-time job and also not only do game dev, but record the process and upload these amazing videos here for us? Well, thank you so much for enjoying the videos. Yeah, good question. I'm glad you asked. It's not easy, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know that I'm doing it that well, to be honest. I feel like I could be way more efficient and way better at it, and yeah, it's a little tiring, I gotta be honest. But I think what I've done so far is that I've set up a schedule for myself where I get up an hour before work. I have a workout, like I'll go for a run or I'll just lift some weights or do some yoga, just anything to get physically activated. And then I have 2 hours in the evening to work on YouTube or game deving. What are you doing in your free time? What free time? What hobbies do you have to keep you from being burnt out by game development? Game dev and YouTube is my hobby. How have you been taking care of your boredom in quarantine? Bored? Who's bored? Do you spend more time editing and filming your videos than you do creating the game? Yes. What's your dog's name? Her name is Zelda, but we call her Ziggy, and she's a little Yorkie. Are you planning on making other games when you're done with the boxing game? Oh yeah, absolutely. Another game that I really also wanted to make is sort of like a horror or, you know, thriller experience. I was actually weighing between the boxing game and that thriller game when I was starting this channel. And I was really close to actually going with the other game, but in the end I ended up going with the boxing game because it was a bit of a smaller scope. So maybe the next game will be that one. Which is your favorite programming language? I really enjoy programming in C#. I absolutely hate C++. I find C++ is very complicated. I don't like Python. C#. Really love C#. Is it really tough to learn and understand C++ over C#? Yes. Absolutely yes. I hate your eyes. Can you please wear a sunglass? What video games do you usually play? Recently I played Hollow Knight. Oh, what a good game. I loved Hollow Knight. It's so good. I really recommend you play it. I've also been playing a bit of Call of Duty, Warzone, and what else have I played? I picked up Factorio again. I really love Factorio. It's such a cool game. What do you enjoy the most in the game development process? It's hard to say. Problem solving obviously is really fun when you actually solve the problem. That's definitely a big part of it, and just seeing it come to life is really, really cool. When was the moment that you were able to go from learning mode to doing mode? I understand why you're asking that question, and I think that you will never feel ready. I think my advice to cross that bridge is to do some courses, do some tutorials, and then decide to clone a game. And for me, that was, I made a Flappy Bird clone. Clone a game, you know exactly what you need to do, you just need to create this thing, but there's nobody hand-holding you, and that will really prepare you for actually making your own game. So it's a nice way to bridge that sort of gap. Where's your brows at? I don't know. If you find them, can you let me know? Because clearly they're not here. Why are you still motivated when you can't figure out a problem, and that for days? I don't think it has anything to do with motivation. It's just sheer anger and stubbornness. Why are your videos so awesome? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, as they say. Thank you so much. That's awesome. I'm so glad you like him. A lot of you are asking about Discord and if I'm gonna create a Discord channel. Truth is, I've been using Discord mostly to just chat with my friends when playing video games. But you know, I understand that it's like a really big deal these days, and so yeah, well, I'm definitely looking into it, and yes, we're gonna have a Discord channel. All right, well, I think that is it for Q&A this time. Next one will come at 100K, so get your friends to subscribe, and I also really wanna just say thank you. Oh, wow. I really want to say thank you to all of you for supporting me through this endeavor. Reading the positive comments and seeing you guys being excited for when I release a video, it just makes all the difference. So I really want to thank you for that and for sticking with me. But yeah, if you have any questions that I didn't answer, write to me on Twitter or in the comments. I try to read and reply to all of them. But yeah, so I'm gonna get back to working on the game and working on the next video, and hopefully by next weekend I'll have a new video. So thank you so much for watching, and yeah, thank you. See you in the next video.